Hi everyone, welcome to Heart Center. This is our first delve into our chest in the method backbending. For this class, you'll need to set up your mat next to a wall, and you'll need a couple of blocks by your side that we'll be using a little bit later. So when you're ready, join me on the mat. Hi, welcome to class. We're going to be starting standing up today, and we'll take our puppy pose with the wall. So to come into puppy pose with the wall, you'll bring your feet together. For some reason, we always want to do this with our feet apart. I don't know why. Just bring your feet together. That way we can be very sure that our hips are square, we're even on our feet. It's a much better choice. Next, what you want to do is make sure that your hands are touching with the wall and you have just a small bend in your elbows so that you're not too far, and you're not too close. You should be somewhere in between so that your feet are together, your hands are on the wall, and your elbows have a little bend in them. Okay, once we have this position with the wall, we're going to create a few cow and cat tilts. So just like you would do on hands and knees on the floor, let's try a few here. So you're going to inhale, lift the sitting bones, lift the chin bone up, cow, and exhale, create the opposite feeling, cat, push the floor, or rather the wall away from you and pull the navel in. So notice this cat pose. We're not going to be doing this. Okay, I don't want this kind of forward tilt with your pelvis. I don't want a rounding of your spine. So let's again come into cow, which is what we want to feel. Inhale, lift the sitting bones up, lift your chin up. This is cow tilt. This is also the position that we want to maintain. So keep your pelvis in the same position. Keep your chest moving forward. Just lift your hands up the wall. Now, we're going to try and pulse our chest and our armpits closer to the wall. As we do this, notice your sitting bones. Notice if they start to come into the cat position. Keep lifting them into cow. See if you can bring your arms towards the wall. And if that's happening, you can take the forehead to the wall. And if you have the mobility, you bring your tip of the nose to the wall, maybe the chin to the wall, maybe your throat to the wall. Once you have throat to wall, you can really sink a little bit lower. Okay, so wherever you may be, whether you have forehead, tip of nose, chin, or throat on the wall, we're going to be holding the pose. So let's talk about it from the ground up. Press your feet evenly on the floor. Pick up your kneecaps, pull them upwards. You feel the quadriceps contract. Cow tilt your pelvis. So the sitting bones are lifting up, pubic bone is reaching back. Reach your navel in towards the low back and press your chest bone forward. Lift the chin bone away from the chest so that eventually it's just the chest touching with the wall, right? Your chin, your throat are lifting away from. So we're finding a deep back bend using the wall as help. One more breath. Exhale to reverse slowly. Use your hands on the wall. Start shifting the weight back. Bend your elbows. Nice and slow. Bring your hips forward, the head lifts up last. Take a moment and release the arms. Good. Okay, we're going to try that one more time. We're going to go a little bit quicker. And let's talk about the method here as it applies. So we get the alignment here. We have our feet in the same position. We have our hands forward. We'll begin with a cow tilt. Inhale. All right, reach the arms up. and we're going to bring our chest towards the wall. Go into the deepest expression you have, so wherever you stopped last time. I'm noticing and observing the way my body feels in this pose. You might feel and observe a sensation in the shoulders. You might feel something along your upper back. If you have any sort of tension on the backs of the legs, take a little bend to the knees, lift the sitting bones higher. If we have a lot of mobility in the upper back, the chin away from the chest, throat off the wall, push the wall away with your hands. Push the wall away with your hands and keep looking back. We're trying to create as much compression in the back body, as much extension and expansion in the front side. Remember, make volume in the chest. Fill it up with a sense of joy, enthusiasm and joy. One more breath. And then use your hands, slowly lift yourself back up. Remember, the head will lift up last. Nice and slow, so it can be intense coming out of these postures. The best thing we can do is learn to move as if you're going in slow motion. Okay, one last time. So this time I'm going to show you a deepening variation of this pose that you can take if your throat is beginning to lift off the wall, right? So once the throat is beginning to expand off the wall, you can move a little bit deeper into heart center. Okay, our feet haven't changed. We're still in the same place. We're set up. We're good to go. Place your hands forward. Create a cow tilt. Inhale. And exhale, walk the hands up. Come into your position. Third set. Go where you left off before. Check out your legs, the position of the hips over the ankles, the pulling up of the knees, your chest puffing forward, a sense of observation, and just a compassionate detachment. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my palms together in prayer. This is going to increase the stretch on the shoulders. Now, if you like to go further, you can start bending the elbows. So this is quite challenging, okay? So you only want to take this variation with the elbows bent if you feel no pain, right? Nothing weird is starting to happen in your shoulder joints. You can bring the elbows together. In fact, you should if this is happening. Elbows together, wrists together. Look back. See if you can get those wrists and thumbs towards the top of the head. Hold your pose. Chest puffs forward. Sitting bones lift up. Head reaching back. One more breath. Then nice and slow, please. First, if you took the palms in prayer, hands flat, always reverse, step by step. Send the weight back to your heels. Slowly press your hips forward over the ankles. The last thing we do is we bring the head back up. Lengthen your spine. Re-illuminate the spine. All right, very nice. So these three puppies, each one can go deeper and deeper in intensity and in feeling. You can use the method, observe, make sure you're coming in and out the right way, and fill it up with a sense of joy, of enjoyment. And as you do it, you'll notice tremendous shifts. Okay, puppy pose. From here, we're going to take a reverse puppy pose with the wall. So I'm going to show you what that looks like first, and then we'll do it together. So just watch me. I'm going to this time face away from the wall with my hand, same like we did before, just a soft elbow distance my elbow is bent and I'm a short arm distance from the wall. Okay, so from here, I'm going to turn all the way away from the wall so that my front side is facing forward. My feet are together again, and I'm going to reach my arms up. From here, first step, observe your entire spine. So for the purpose of our exercise, we're going to imagine that our spine includes the top of our head. Drop your tailbone down so you're starting with a neutral pelvis and lift up. Inhale. Exhale, I'm going to look back from top, right, to bottom. So I'm only accessing the top of my spine right now. My pelvis stays neutral. From here, I'll take my hands flat onto the wall, and I'm going to take a little step back. This way I can reach the bottom of my palm towards the wall. So this is my reverse puppy cat with the wall. I can hold it here, or I can play with bending the knees to help initiate the chest lifting up. I come up, reversing the action, head up last, neutralize, and release. Okay, so we're going to try 3 together in a row. Anytime you need to pause and take a break, take a break. It's normal to feel a little lightheaded, even normal to see a little bit of stars as you come out of this posture. It dissipates over time with practice, but if you need a longer break between these sets, take a longer break. Okay, let's measure a soft arm distance from the wall and turn away from the wall. Bring your feet together, middle toes forward, strong legs, strong inner thighs is so important. Inhale, reach the arms up. Notice your spine. Drop the tail. Make sure you're not starting misaligned, right? Drop your tail, stretch up. Inhale, look up, start from the top. Touch the wall with your fingers. Puff your chest upwards. Take your hands, flat position towards the wall. Take a little step back towards the wall and see if you can bend the elbows, get your hand in a flat position on your wall. When you do this, you'll notice your hips start drawing back. That's okay. Yeah? It's good because we're really working on bringing the weight and the pressure to our middle back off of our lower backs. Go ahead and bend your knees. Inhale. If it's possible, walk the hands a little bit lower. Exhale, squeeze the legs straight. Draw the elbows towards each other. Try pressing the wall away. Again, bend your knees, elbows towards each other. Push the legs straight, push the floor away, and try and extend your elbows. One last time, bend the knees, elbows towards each other. Squeeze the legs straight, push the wall. 3, 2, 1. To come out, slowly walk your hands up. Draw your hips forward over the ankles. Drop the tail. Arms up, stretch up, look forward last. Then release the arms. Very good. Can be quite intense. It's okay. Take a break if you need. We're going to keep going. Inhale, arms up. Look back. Walk the hands down. Push the wall away. Bend your knees. Align your thumbs with your eye gaze. Elbows in. Squeeze the legs straight. Push the wall. 3, 2, 1. Again, bend the knees. Notice I'm really arching my back. It's a C curve with the spine. So my lower back is in a natural arch. And when I straighten my legs, I keep that arch there. Elbows in, push the wall. Bend your knees. Keep the length from chin to chest.
Elbows in. One last time. 3. Push the wall. 2. 1. To come out, walk your hands up. First, hips forward. Drop your tailbone. A little tuck. Arms up. Stretch up. Head up last. And release. Good. Super intense. Super strengthening for those shoulders. Right? So, again, I have to keep saying it because I want you to know it's intense. If you're feeling that it's super intense, it's intense for me too. It's intense for everyone. It's normal. Pace yourself. Take your time. Take a break if you need. A final set. You like to do it? Join me otherwise. See how it feels. You can build up towards doing the 3 sets. Okay. Inhale. Here we go. Last one. Arms up. Stretch up. Look at the wall. From the top to the bottom, touch the wall. Walk your hands down to eye level. Bend your knees. Try and get your hand flat on the wall. I can go a little bit deeper now. I'm going to press the wall away, elbows in, really feeling it in the shoulders as I draw the elbows in. Straighten the legs, push the wall. Again, bend the knees, elbows bend, elbows in towards each other. Now, squeeze the legs, push the wall away. Only thing bending is the spine now. Bend your knees, elbows in, push the wall away. Last one. Bend your knees, elbows in, push the wall away. 3, hold. 2, don't rush out. 1. First, lift your hands up. Then, undo the back bend in the lower back. Hips forward. Arms up, head up last. Tuck your tailbone forward, stretch up. And release. All right. Very nice. Always take a break if you need. I'm going to take a few circles of my wrists here. Okay, so we're going to be working on a very similar shape, but we're going to be doing it upside down. So this is called a hollow back, and you can do it either in a forearm stand or in a handstand. I like to do it in a handstand. It's essentially the same shape. It's this shape that we've been working on, but we're going to be doing it on our hands, pressing the chest away from the wall. So we'll break it down, but I'm going to show you what it looks like first, and then we'll break it down piece by piece. Okay, so you can measure the same sort of distance from the wall here. I'm going to take my hands where my feet are and step my feet back. From here, if you're familiar with jumping up onto a wall, you have whichever leg is stronger for you forward, and I'm going to kick up and find the wall, okay? Once I find the wall, it's important that I'm pressing away from the floor, avoiding collapsing on my arm joints. So push up, push up, push up. Take both feet to the wall, and from here, here's the tricky part. I sink my hips towards the wall. It can be super scary because it feels like the wall is just never going to be there and you're just going to fall back. So at first, it's very tricky and very scary. But once you get over the fear of releasing the hips to the wall, then actually it's quite a nice feeling of pressing the chest forward while inverted. So here's our hollow back. And of course, the deeper you can sink your hips, the more we can really feel the pressure, the good pressure in the chest. To come out, I press reverse exactly how I came in. So I bend one knee, I press the foot into the wall, reach my hips away from the wall, straighten the legs, straighten the arms, of course. They should never be bent, and I slowly come out. Okay, so this seems like a lot, especially if you don't yet have a handstand practice, if you don't yet have, if you haven't practiced kicking up into a handstand, then what you are going to be working on is just jumping up on the wall, okay? Or even just holding a downward facing dog, or a dolphin pose, or if you prefer, you can repeat the puppy pose we did with the wall. Okay? So you don't have to invert if you don't want to. I know it's quite a lot, especially if you haven't done it before. I wanted to include it in this series anyway, because it's one of the things that I love to do to open heart center. Okay, if you like to join me in kicking up against the wall, we'll do 2 long sets of this hollow back handstand. Okay, so what we're going to do is set up just about, it's a little bit different for each person. The closer you are to the wall, the less your hips will have to travel to get to the wall, right? So you can start quite close to the wall. Notice where your toes are, and then just try and place your hands where you saw your toes were a moment ago. Okay, so I'm quite close to the wall to begin. I have my stronger leg forward in a lunge, and I'm going to hop up. You might need to take a few hops to find the wall. Once you find the wall, push the floor away. And here's the tricky part. Keep looking right between your thumbs. See if you can draw the inner thighs towards each other. And I'm going to shift my gaze forward as I sink my hips to the wall. Again, the closer you begin to the wall, the safer it feels, right? Because see, my hips traveled a small distance and here I am. Now I can sink my hips down towards the floor and push my chest forward. Hold, push the floor away for 5, belly in, 3, 2, 1 to come out. Bend one of your knees so that you have a foot flat on the wall and push your hips over your shoulders. Nice and slow, return to the mat. Take a little break, sit the hips on the heels. All right. So we can see that a lot of this heart opening process and practice involves a lot of strength. Strength of the legs, strength of the arms, and really, we're breaking down these body areas into sections and parts, but it all connects. So even though we're kind of dividing things up, you'll feel everything in everything we do, because spinal work, backbending work, really involves the entire body. So we're going to try one more of these hollow backs. And I like repetition because each time when you repeat one time after the other, you notice you come into it a little bit more easily. Yeah? Okay, so you can either start quite close to the wall, it'll feel a little bit less scary, or you can, if you're feeling good, you can take your hands a little bit further away. When you're ready, go ahead and kick up. Push the wall away. Here's a good time to remember our method. Observe the spine, right? And I'm going to start with my head. I look between my fingers, and I'm going to look forward, releasing the gaze forward towards the front of the mat. From here, I'm going to sink my hips towards the wall. I press my chest forward. I push with my strong arms. Try and find stillness with your eyes, stillness in the pose. Variations are welcome. You can bend both knees. Take one more breath. And when you're ready, press your hips away from the wall, feet to the wall, of course, and then slowly lower down. Take a little break. Always try and find your breath afterwards. I know that it's hard, but train yourself. It takes discipline. Train yourself to become still after your movements. When we're able to be still, especially between these exercises, it brings the first step of the method, the ability to stay a witness and an observer, it allows that to happen more naturally. Okay, so the last thing we're going to be working on today is chin stand. I actually prefer, I know it's called chin stand, but to me, it should be called a chest stand, because eventually, really, where the weight is right around underneath the collarbones, between the collarbones and the chest bone area. Okay? This way, we can eventually really begin to lift our chin, our throats up off the mat, and it makes breathing much easier. This is a pose that feels very scary, very intimidating to people. Okay, I'm going to show you different ways that I come into it in my natural practice, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to workshop this pose, how we're going to be using the wall to help us get into it. Okay. This is generally how I would come into my chin stand, aka chest stand. My hands might be underneath my shoulders, right? And I might lift my hips up, extend a leg, and come into it. Right now, my chin is on the floor. It makes breathing a little bit harder. Once I'm able to balance on my chest, my throat lifts. Okay. Of course, lifting the throat off the floor like that will take time and practice. Everything we worked on so far helps to lengthen the throat and strengthen the muscles behind it. So it's not going to happen overnight that you're able to lift your chin and throat off the floor and let it become a chest stand. It takes time. How do we get into this position? Okay, we're going to use the wall again, and I'm going to show you also a variation with the block to help stretch the throat a little bit more. So getting into this with the wall can be a bit awkward. Just we'll take it step by step. The first thing I'm going to do is get into that same position I just showed you. Chin towards the floor, chin on the floor. My feet are touching with the wall. Hands underneath the shoulders. Take a step up. Okay, take another step up. Be sure that your hands are under the shoulders. Your eyes are forward. Try now to sink your pubic bone towards the floor. So your chest is going to start lifting. We're too far from the wall. We need to lift ourselves up and put ourselves down until you feel that you're close enough to the wall, okay? So use your hands, push the floor away, and get yourself closer to the wall. Okay, I'm in the right position now. I'm going to do my best to get my pubic bone towards the wall, my chin, my chest to the floor, and I'm using my toes curled under to sort of press my hips over my shoulders. You can lift one leg up at a time. If it's too much, use your hands, push up and come forward. Push up and come forward until you're able to take a break. Okay, so it's not the prettiest process, and if when you're doing this you're like, I can't breathe, just try not to panic though, right? So use your hands to slowly make your way out of the pose. Don't seize, don't lose track of the witness, slowly make your way out. Okay, so that's pretty challenging. You can try taking a block and placing your chin, let's see, We're going to place our chin. The hands are a little bit behind the block, our chin on the block. This could be enough. You can take the shins against the wall and just feel this place over here. You can try extending one leg up the wall, maybe even lifting it up, and then switch the legs. So sliding the left shin down and lifting the right leg up, maybe even lifting it up over the head. You have to be quite comfortable with the first thing we did against the wall to try it with the block, because it can get uncomfortable. Lifting both legs up the wall, try. One leg at a time. You can try bending a knee, bending the other knee. To come out, roll the weight back, remove the block, and inch your way forward. Okay, take a little break. Make a little pillow with your hands and really be still. It's a lot of work. It can be also getting through a lot of fear. It's not easy to feel that pressure on the front side of the body, on heart center, on the chest. This is difficult, okay? This is really difficult. It's not easy. It's not meant to be easy. Please honor that. Please respect that. And go very slowly when you're doing these, okay? Make sure to take proper rest in between. And in this way, we can be sure to find eventually a release from some of the fear, and you'll even find that you're able to physically breathe into spaces that you didn't have access to before. So I hope you enjoyed this class as much as possible, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.